Welcome to my channel. And today I'm going to show you Mannie's shirt is finished. So this was McCall's 6613, which is a discontinued pattern, but I believe you can still get it, and a lot of you may have it in your stash. It is a unisex pattern, and the directions are for a woman's shirt. So the button plackets and everything they picture is for the woman's version. At least it tells you that, like somewhere. I remember reading it. It does have a few versions, the short sleeve version, different types of pockets with flaps and pleats, the button down collar, and just a regular shirt with the tabs to roll them up, and then it has the flat hem like straight across, and then a version obviously without pockets or buttons on the collar. So I made the size small, but if I made it for a real person, because he doesn't move, I thought it would look too big. So I made a small, which is 34 to 36. I believe his measurements are 31. But according to the finished, so I went by the finished measurements of the garment. And there's not, like if that was for a real person with the same measurements, there wouldn't be enough ease. But I can get his shirt on, but his arm comes off, so not the same as a human. Anyway, he probably should have been a medium, but I think the shirt fits him well. And it's got those lovely details I added. I have a 5-pound button box, and not one button would match. This one's not too bad, but it only has 2 holes, and for a men's button you need 4. I will put in some close-ups of his shirt, but you can see, actually it's hard to see, it has a striped fabric on the inside. I got this here. I'll undo a button here so you can see that green, hopefully, right there. And in the directions of this pattern, it doesn't finish the seams flat felled, which I did on this shirt, so I didn't really follow the directions in the pattern. And this was my first shirt, men's shirt, like proper collar. I think it turned out pretty good. Actually, it's not perfect, but let's see. I didn't put a button up here. And yes, I think it will close. It's going to be tight though. But I think it turned out pretty good. I'll unbutton one of these cuffs so I can show you. So it's got that pop of color on the cuff, and this side is the regular fabric on this side inside, and then, well, I just showed that to you, and then the colored on here and on the inside of the collar stand. And the collar turned out really good. I used interfacing from my shop, which I think is really stiff, but actually it worked really good with this shirt. Now this is a cotton weight fabric. I think if you were using something lighter, I wouldn't use it. But if you want a really stiff collar, and I think that it doesn't curl up a lot, like I think it turned out pretty good. I'll turn him around, hopefully, so you can see the back. There's a clip there holding his pants up. So, yeah, it's got a nice length to it. That's a clip sticking out. And flat felt seams down the back. I did, because there was no directions for it, I should have cut this a little wider, and then I would have had more room to flip it around. So I put a bar tack here where this opening is, and I kind of messed it up a little bit, so it's not perfect. But I think it is suitable for this doll to wear. And I think that's a pretty good looking shirt. I think it turned out good. Except for my button choices, but from back there you can't really see. So anyway, so we're gonna button these back up. So for a beginner shirt, I think it is good. I tested my sewing skills by doing the flat felt seams and doing this collar, which I think turned out really well, and adding that to the front of the button placket, or the front facing. And I used my sewing machine to sew the buttons on. I broke one, which wasn't good. That's why I have a different button up here. Because I only had just barely enough buttons. He has different buttons on his cuffs, his shirt, and then right there. But can't have everything. So these were the two fabrics I used from the shop. So I cut 1 meter of this because I was doing this, the the front facing here, and the cuffs. And then I cut because this is only 45 wide. And I cut 2.5 meters of this. I used 2 meters exactly, because this is the size small. And then I have a piece left of each of these. So 2 meters for a small and 1 meter of this. So the shirt would be, so this shirt, including the pattern I paid $3 for, would come to $36. So for the fabric on my website for this shirt, and that would be $36. And then the interfacing, I think I have it by meter on my website. So because this is quite long, and just a tip, if you were going to use the interfacing off my website, Menzfabrics.ca, I cut the interfacing to fit inside, because if you had to, like on the fold for here, I made the interfacing fit exactly inside, like seam allowances and everything. So, because if you had to fold it over and press it, doesn't want to do a double over. So And there's interfacing in here, and here, here, and here, and here in the stand. And it did work, but it is stiff to work with, and it's fusible. So don't use steam, because that's how you get the bubbled effect, which, of course, I did that. But, yeah, I think it turned out really well. So, and I think that is $10 a meter. So, this is Canadian dollars I'm talking, which is good for other places because then your currency will go farther. But, so yeah. So I just used, so I trace the pieces and you can cut them that way. And I trimmed them to fit. How it washes, I'm not sure yet, but I did wash this fabric before and it didn't fade. It does get picks in it, like, because the fabric it's printed. It's not woven in the color, so it has a white underneath. So that is disappointing. So I do have, but this was perfect, and it does have, oh, I have the fabric right here. I can just show you. So yes, it was nice to work with. It's just when I cut these, I don't have a chisel, so I use my stitch ripper to do a pull here, and almost all of them except for that one. And this one up here. So that's disappointing. And this one has a different feel to it. It's cotton, but it is a printed one as well. But it didn't do that. So this would make a really wild shirt. So I hope that inspires you to make a men's shirt. I enjoyed the process and I will definitely do it again. I like doing all the push myself to do some different techniques that I know how to do. I just sometimes don't do them. Yeah, the flat felled seams, I enjoy doing that. And using the machine to sew the buttons on was a fun experience. And yeah, and I really like how the collar turned out, everything. So the pattern pieces worked out good. The only place was this pleat. I sewed, I think it's Dwayne McCall has a video out on how to do cuffs, which he learned from Peter LePen. You sew your cuff on at this end, and then you do your pleat after, because the pleat is the only thing on this whole shirt that didn't match up the way it should, and I was very careful how I cut everything out. So I hope you enjoyed Mannie's shirt. He looks good in his purple shirt, I think. So I'm pleased with how it came out. I'll have to make him a short sleeve one now. So, and I have been working on the other projects I said I'd show you today, but I think that's going to be another video. So there, Mannie has a new shirt. I hope you like it. Talk to you soon. Bye.